Hi everyone, this is Thalia and Miana, and we'll be talking about expectations, so anime expectations, and
Yeah.
like going into a new season and your like how your expectations are and how you get those expectations. That's a lot of expectations.
It
Okay.
is, yeah, it's perfect. That was the perfect introduction to the
I think that was
topic.
pretty clear that this video is about expectations.
I'm not sure. Do you want to say it again?
Expectations. Okay. Okay. Anyways, Miana, how did you like get your expectations on an anime? Like, is it the genre? Is it the story? Like the synopsis? Is it the picture or PV or whatever?
Well, I think there are two sides to that question. The first one is if we're talking about a series that has already finished airing. And usually the expectations that I get for the series is based on what I know of the series, which is mostly the synopsis. I don't
Hmm.
usually go out of my way to find a preview for a series that already aired.
Yeah.
I'd rather just ask people like that I know have judgment that is pretty close to mine or that I trust their opinion on the series, and I'll be like, is this a good series or not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do it for series that are already finished. If it's a new series like the current airing ones, usually what I do is I check any chart, so I read
Mm-hmm.
the synopsis,
Yeah.
and that's the first thing that gets me hyped. Another factor is of course like the people involved, but then I go and watch the preview for it.
Okay.
And
Um.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, if there is source material and I know the source material, like Tokyo Ghoul right now,
Yeah.
I didn't even need to watch the preview or read the synopsis because I already read part of it and I wanted to watch it from that.
Yeah. 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 I get that. So you already read like part of the manga for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you? How do you
Um.
go around?
Okay. So if it's a series that ended already, most of the times I already saw stuff about it on Twitter or on YouTube, so I kind of go from that. And also, like the hype that is around it mostly does make me want to watch it. So, and mostly, like, if I have good expectations for a series, it's because of the synopsis, because I do still check that out, even though I kind of know what it is about, but I want to be sure what it is about. I don't really look at the studio or anything because I'm not really good at that yet, like directors and all that stuff. I don't know too much about that. So I mostly look just at the story and what
D-
people think about it, like what their thoughts were on it.
What about the genre? Do you look at it
Oh
or
yeah, I mean, if it says like gore or anything, I'm not gonna watch it. So I'll be like, there's no expectations needed because I'm not gonna watch it anyways. But if it
yeah.
says like, if a series says that it's comedy in there, I'll definitely watch it. So I'm like that. But it depends like what other subgenres that there are in the
Yeah.
series. But comedy is always a plus for me. If there's comedy in there, I'll have higher expectations. Um, then for series that are airing right now with the summer season and all that stuff, it's the same. I just go on any chart as well. I check that out. Also, like you can already see on Twitter and YouTube that people are hyped for some stuff
Yeah.
like Sankyo no Terra and all that. That's been going on like from winter season that people have been excited for that. Same for like the Sailor Moon thing and all that. So
Oh yeah.
for that, I was already like, yeah, I'm gonna check it out because people are saying so much good stuff about it, and I want to know what the hype is about. So that's just being curious about it, and also having high expectations because people are hyped about it. So it's kind of because of other people. And then for other anime that are not too well known for new seasons, I just the same like I check out the genres and synopsis, and that's it. So yeah, that's how it goes for me.
You don't usually watch a lot of previews for the new season?
No, that's the thing. Like, I never watch previews. Only when people are like, "Oh, you have to watch this. It's really good." And I'm like, oh, "Okay, I'll watch it." Because I like to go. I like to go into a series without knowing anything about it. Well, except for like synopsis, but mostly that's kind of vague, so you don't really know for
Yeah.
sure what it is about. So I like going into series and not have seen anything about it, so I don't have too much high expectations. So I won't get too
Yeah.
disappointed if it's not good. So
that flows perfectly into the next part of this topic, which is: would you rather have high or low expectations for a series, or just no expectations when you go
yeah,
into?
it depends on the genre as well for me. If it's like, if it's like mecha or something that I would normally not watch, but I do want to check it out, I go in with it with low expectations because I'm usually not a fan of that genre. And mostly I'm surprised by it and I end up liking it, so that's a good thing about it. But then when it's comedy and romance and all that, I do have high expectations because I've seen more of that. Same with action and all that. So then I have more high or magical girls. That's the same thing like magic and all that. Like if it's that, I have higher expectations because you've seen more of that.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to compare it to other series, and that's why you like have higher expectations as well. For me, how is it for you?
Well, like ideally, I'd like to go in like with pretty much no expectations, or just like slightly interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the best way for me. It's just like, oh, I like this idea, but I don't have like that much hype surrounding it. Because the thing is, even though it's really fun to be hyped for a show, and I can't help be hyped for a lot of shows, it just happens.
Yeah.
And that's also very good on its own. But the thing is, when things aren't that good, you will just end up being a lot more disappointed
Yeah,
than if you were
exactly.
just like, I'm watching this because it looks fun. So I'd rather not have them all that much. Or, of course, if you have very low expectations and then the series is not that bad, it's actually like a good process. It's just a surprise and you end up enjoying it more.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
happened for me with, like, for instance, Noreen, which was a comedy series that aired last season.
Was it winter?
No, two seasons ago. It was
Yeah.
winter. It's summer already, so yeah, it was winter. And basically it just looked very typical, so I had absolutely no expectations, because for a typical series that just says, oh, romance comedy in a high school, like there are dozens of those. I like the good ones, but I don't necessarily read that and think, oh, this will be a good show, because it can be anything from very bad to very good.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went like, oh, I'm going to check it out because I'm kind of bored and it looks fun. And then I ended up having so much fun watching that show, even though it's not a good show.
Yeah.
It's not a particularly good show, but the comedy parts of it are golden.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that for me is way better. But of course, like if you're very hyped about a series and then it ends up being really good, that's just such a great feeling.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you. Like, I would rather go into a series, well, like I said, like not knowing too much and just be like normal. Like, you're just like, okay, this can either go up or down, and if it's not working, I'll just drop it. And that's like, you're not really worried about it. But yeah, like you said, like if you have a lot of hype about, I told you this about Zankyo no Terror. Like, I was so scared because everyone's hyped about it that I wouldn't like it. So I didn't know what to expect at all, so I didn't have too much expectations for that one. So
I was so hyped for that.
Yeah,
series.
but the thing is, it doesn't disappoint though.
I still am. It's so
good. That's the thing. Like now, I'm pretty hyped for it as well, and I have high expectations for all the other episodes. So yeah.
Well, that's a good way to look at it, because when it comes to just the first episode, if you don't have a lot of expectations, just then based on the first episode, you can just adjust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sometimes it's just, the problem is that even if you do that, if the series just goes down halfway, you'll still have created expectations that won't be fulfilled, and that sucks. That's one of the worst.
Yeah.
The worst feelings is when you were like, I just wanted this to be so good, and it wasn't.
I had that with the Pilot's Love Song. Like I was so excited for that one, and the first like 5 or 6 episodes were so good, and then I was like, oh, I have so much high expectations for it to end on a good note, and it didn't. Like it did kind of, but it wasn't what I expected. So
yeah, I agree with you. That was one of the disappointments for me. Another one that was pretty recent is Glass Sleep, that started airing right now, because I had high expectations for it, and it didn't start that well, in my opinion. And this, like, it can still go up. It can still be a very good series. It has a lot of time to do that. But right now, like, my expectations were lowered for that series.
I think that's a good thing for that one because well, for me, it kind of, it's weird with Gaslit. Like, I saw the PV for that one. I normally
Yeah.
don't watch that, but that looked very good. And I started watching the first episode, and it wasn't like not too much information. It was kind of confusing. Like, you didn't really know what to think about it. But then I saw the second episode, and now I'm more hyped and excited for it. So for me, it always changes by the first 3 episodes, like something
Yeah.
like that.
I think the preview issue is ultimately very misleading. Actually, I like to watch the previews because I want to know more. Like, I want to know how it looks, but at the same time, like, you have to give it a little bit of, I don't know. You just can't take it too literally because the previews are exactly the same as movie trailers. A lot of them look really good, even for series that aren't that good.
Yeah.
So you need to, like, look at them a little bit skeptical, I guess. I mostly watch the previews to see how it looks in terms of animation and that kind of thing, more than like how the plot will work. Because they're just going to pick out the best scenes that they have in the first episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Preview, so.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch previews because I know they're very misleading and I'll just have false expectations.
Yeah,
so
that is true. I agree with that. I don't think the previews are the best way to, like, get to know a series and think if that's a good or bad series. Yeah. It's just a way for you to get a little bit, a little sneak peek, per se, of the series. But yeah, what else? Or rather, this series that did the opposite to you, that you had, like, absolutely no expectations and really surprised you for the positive.
Debbie.
Debbie, I know that's a bag, but it's my bag. Look at Thalia. She's going to answer a very important question.
Okay, I didn't hear the question though. I was like, Debbie.
Like, we talked about series that our expectations were higher than they actually turned out to be in terms of quality. What about the other way around? Series that you had, like, low expectations for that ended up being really good or enjoyable?
I've had that with a lot of series actually lately. Like, I've had that with Sidonia no Kishi because that was mecha and sci-fi and all that. I'm like, eh. I saw even the first episode. I was like, I don't know, but I'll keep watching just to see what the fuss is about. And I ended up loving that one. That one was so good. Also, I don't know. Like I said, like, I mostly have, like, low expectations when it's genres that I don't like, or the synopsis that is very vague, because you have a lot of synopsis that they put, like, only, like, 2 sentences. They did that for Alt Noah Zero. It was only 2 sentences without any information, so you didn't know at all what it was going to be about and all that. So I went into that with very low expectations as well. Although a lot of people who worked on it are very famous, I guess. Like, that's what I heard. I don't know much about that.
Yeah, they have the director.
Yeah, but for me, like, that doesn't get me hyped because it's like, for me, the story matters and the characters and all that. So, and
then again, like,
I love that one as well.
You didn't really watch Psychopaths or stuff that he did, so...
No, because I can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, the thing was knowing that he was involved in that. Not as much just, like, the name, because I'm like you, I don't know that many names of directors. I just know, like, the major ones.
Yeah.
But that one was just caught my eye because I knew that I liked his work before. Really a lot. So
yeah, I guess. I mean, for me, I mean, I know a few, like, directors and all that stuff, but for me, it doesn't help for the next series to be hyped about, because you never know if they can always fail in making a series. You never know that. There's I don't know. I'm not gonna say, like, that any director can make, like, a stupid series, but you know, they can always go downhill instead of, like, going up for one reason. Of course. So I don't have expectations according to that. I never look at that. Same with the studio. Like, I don't.
Oh yeah, like, the studio is a weird issue because it depends a lot on some studios are very typical in what they do. So knowing that the studio that's involved, you'll know what you'll get.
Yeah,
so
like
it's better
Shaft.
than a preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like PA Works, you already know like the style of animation that they're going to use, and that they're probably just pulling off a slice of life with a little bit drama, that kind of thing. But other studios do like all sorts of things and in all levels of quality. So in that area, I agree with you. The studio is not that important in creating expectations.
Yeah. I do look at it because I can kind of like, oh, they made that and that and that.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, I'm not like, well, except when it's for Shaft, because you obviously know like how it's going to look and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
that's the only obvious
for instance,
Madhouse
is a studio that I don't create expectations based on it being Madhouse. Because they can do stuff like No Game No Life, and they can do stuff like my whole sense was Madhouse, I think.
Yeah, I think it was as well. Yeah.
And so like they can do everything in all sorts of quality in the spectrum and all sorts of type of story, type of character. So I just don't pay that much attention. I just go like, oh, it's Madhouse, but I don't get hyped because it's Madhouse.
Yeah, I have the same thing. Like, I do have like a preference, like one that I like out of all of them, kind of, but it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, it's Bones. Now I really have to watch it. Like, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's just a story for me, which
there are
overall
some genres though that get like I didn't have this before, but now when I read sports anime and it looks good, I just get really hyped. Like I got that with Haikyuu.
Yeah.
I actually had heard people say that the manga wasn't as good as other sports
anime. I heard that too.
But I was like, it just looks so good. It's sports anime and like all the emotions, all the feels.
Yeah.
That I just went in with really high expectations, which are met, to be fair. I'm really liking it. But still, it was just like sports set a really high bar, which is probably not a very good idea, but it has been working out. So.
I mean, yeah. There hasn't been too much bad shows that are sports.
Rainbow Kishi.
Well, yeah, but that was they put the wrong genre on that one.
Yeah.
That's their fault.
Genre bully.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's probably it.
Me too. I don't like main point about this one is for me the story just gives me the most expectations. If I have to choose.
Yeah, for me it's the combination of several factors, but the story is very important.
Yeah. Well, story and genre, because you kind of have to know what to expect from the genre.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this week. We'll do the tag that Cloudy made for the next one.
Yeah, Cloudy tagged the both of us, so we decided to do this as double team. And just go for it.
Just go for it. And it's about fangirling over things, so it's gonna be interesting. And I'll make it in 2 parts because it's quite a lot of questions and
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, we'll see you next week on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.